So before I'd even got, it took me 3 or 4 hours to do this whole thing. I was just on the verge of panic to get this thing out there, and by that time it was 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and so it was before I'd even put up this Psalm 90 video of me playing Psalm 90, because it starts with, "O Lord, thou hast been our dwelling place in all generations, before the mountains were brought forth, or ever thou hast formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting." So I finally got a signal. I think it was getting close to 10, and I don't know if I actually sent her that video to prove to her that, I finally got it up on YouTube where I could share a link, because my phone would connect and let me have about 5 minutes. And fortunately, when it connected and started downloading, it was really fast. And it would go back off, and I was just praying, "Lord, I hope this keeps everything so we can finish it up." And it did. I finally got smart and learned to push the save button before I was actually done. But that just kind of blew me away when I put that together. She went on and talked quite a bit about this setter and how it made her feel, she was empathizing with Jesus like I've never done. And I told her, "I think you're feeling a bit of the sorrows of Jesus." She was putting it all together in such a way that it made her very, very sad. And that just occurred to me that, hey, this is, you're just empathizing here to the degree that you're suffering. So I told her, just remember that, Jesus arose on the third day. That's the whole thing, Jesus arose. He didn't stay in the grave. And this gave the Lord's Prayer such tremendous power. Everything he said from then on had so much more power than, now this is, I don't know this for a fact, but this is just me thinking, when, he's got much more power. He's come into his kingdom. So those words he said come to life in a new way. He wasn't defeated. He wasn't speaking from a perspective of defeat. He was speaking from the future. These words, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Thy will be done, okay? So he wasn't just hypothesizing like I do sometimes. He was telling you the facts. Those are the facts of life. You can take it to the bank. Those are the facts of life, not from man, but from God. Those are the facts. That's what's going to happen. The kingdom of heaven is going to come to earth, because that's what he said. He is God, and God is with God, and he is God, and that's God's plan. That's God's will. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. I have a friend who says that that's an important scripture to him, and I can see now that it is an important Scripture, because that puts everything into effect. Thy will be done. That's at some point in the future. We're slowly getting to that point. But just like this virus, it could happen in an instant. But that will be done, because his will be done, and he has expressed that will, that his will is heaven on earth as it is in heaven. So, and deliver us from evil. And I know that works. I know that's true. And I know the whole universe understands that perfectly, clearly. That, evil cannot touch us anymore. Not like it was before Jesus uttered those words. But there's examples. Is even in the Old Testament, when Jehoshaphat sent the singers out first into battle, singing praises to the Lord, and the enemy just laid down their weapons out of fear. This sight, the sound, the vibrations, is, in tune with the vibrations of the universe. Well, I'm just theorizing here, but hypothesizing. But it seems to me, how could that happen? What was the mechanics of it? So the sound waves, in tune with God, the frequency, the God frequency. Wow, just came up with that one, the God frequency. When we're talking to God and He's talking to us, it's not talk. Nobody can tell me. Occasionally, yes, that happens. There's an audible verbalization. There's a sensation that these words come to you. But to me, it's like telepathy. We're telepathically communicating. We're on His wavelength, on His frequency, on God's frequency. And we communicate with Him, and He comes to us, and He talks to us, and He comforts us, and He walks with me, and He talks with me. And He tells me I am His own. I am His own. So all these things that God does for you, these little ways of communicating with you that maybe no one else would understand, but you understand, because it's so personal. It's so personal, and it's experiential. It's what you actually experience from being visited by God. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about when I'm thinking about a prayer state. A prayer state. We go into a prayer state. It's kind of trance-like, really, and we get in. We go into this prayer state where we're communicating to. It's almost like telepathy, and I don't know what that's like, but it's like this without words. It's just love. It's just love and conversation, and it's a feeling. We have emotions tied to these. Tied to these relationships that we have with the world, with the earth. When we see the ocean, we have this feeling, oh my God, that is breathtaking. When you see a little baby, a beautiful little baby, it's like, oh my God, that's beautiful. It just takes our breath away for a second. We see a fall day or a clear vista or the stars at night. It just takes our breath away. So these are the types, this awe that we feel, this awe that we feel, this wonder and amazement and joy, this appreciation. Back when I was really immobilized, more or less, from anxiety and depression, I could get into this state, this prayer state, and just by appreciating, just by this feeling that I wasn't doing anything with my life, I could get into this state of just appreciating what God has done, what He is, and His creation. And I knew it was tied to God, because it's His creation. I would sit by the river for hours and just the peace of just watching that river flow. It became an experience. I experienced the peace of that river, the longevity of that river, which hinted at the peace of eternity. So I felt, well, I am doing something. Somebody's got to appreciate all that God has done, all that God has given us. And I know that's a hippie trippy way of looking at it, and nobody would understand. Get back to work, might be there, or get a job, might be their short answer. But